All right, so let's start by talking about pharmacy receiving process. I know we get a lot of questions. Do I need to scan every item? Can I just scan the totes? Or do I need to scan it all? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so inside of our software, our OneScan software, we're very flexible with that. So we offer multiple different ways to receive products. So, really from a dispenser level, you want to have your practice and process outlined in your SOPs. But inside of our system, we offer multiple different ways to receive. So the first one, you can scan at an individual product level. So you would just grab that product, scan that individual 2D barcode, and on our end, we're doing that product matching for you. So we're matching the physical product against the data in that file. But also, we're very flexible. So we offer receiving by the tote. So every tote that you're receiving should have a license plate on it, also known as a linear barcode. You would just scan that, and we would verify the tote against the data in that file. So there's multiple different ways to receive inside of our software. We also offer an auto process functionality where you can just auto process the whole order. But again, that's something that you want to have outlined in your SOPs and make sure that you're following the best practices.
Okay, and now is that for EPCIS? Or AS2, for AS2 connections, or is this for ASN lot level receiving, or both?
Yeah, for both, right? So we can receive ASNs inside of our software, and you can scan the products that way. But as we all know, everything is transitioning over to EPCIS in November. So you're going to want to make sure that you're connected with your trading partners. You're receiving that serialization data, which is all down to the individual unit. So that's why it's key that you need to make sure you're verifying and you're doing that product matching to make sure that you're in full DSCSA compliance.
So talk to me about paper receipts and uploading those into the system. I know we have a lot of hospitals that ask about, that functionality.
Yeah, so absolutely. We can support that. So, a lot of the health systems that we're transitioning into LSPedia, that's what they're currently doing with some of our competitors right now because our competitors aren't fully up and running with serialization data. So what they're doing right now is they're taking those paper invoices, they're uploading them into a system, and they're storing it so they have that data in case they were to get audited. So as we transition you into full serialization, we are able inside of our system to support that. So you would just upload those invoices into LSPedia system, and then if you're ever audited, you'll have access to all of that data. And this is only for the transition phase, right? Because everything is switching over to serialization data. So you're going to have to start receiving that data, scanning your products against that, and moving forward with that.
Got it. Now, what about if a pharmacy is going to receive at the tote level, or if they're going to essentially auto process? Should they have any additional steps, in their SOPs?
Yeah, I think that's key is if you are going to scan at a tote level, you still need to verify the individual products inside of that tote. So when you're scanning that tote, you're matching the data on that tote against the data in that file, but you still need to make sure that the correct products are in there so you can either count the quantities, you can do a visual verification, or in some instances, you have other health systems that are scanning inside of Epic or other software solutions. And if you're scanning inside of another software, that's doing some other additional verification as well. So, you want to make sure that you have an additional process in place where you are verifying that the quantities are correct and the individual products are correct.
Now, for pharmacies that don't have a scanner, how does that work?
Yeah, so absolutely. You can do a visual verification, but what we recommend inside of our OneScan platform is you are able to utilize your mobile device for scanning. So if you have an iPhone, Android, tablet, you would just log into our portal and you can scan directly through your mobile device.
Okay, and then for scanners, is there any particular scanner that a pharmacy needs to use to work with LSPedia?
Yeah. No, so we pretty much support any scanner out there. We really haven't ran into one that we aren't able to utilize. As long as your scanner is able to read that 2D data matrix on the back of the prescription bottle, you would be able to utilize your current scanner inside of our software.
Okay, perfect. So as far as the receiving process, you mentioned there's the three types. You can scan every item. You can scan the tote level, and if you do that, you should also take another step to at least count the items to make sure that's a match. Or you can auto process with the same thing. You should still count to ensure that the count is correct. Now, as far as risk factor, what is the biggest risk that you face if you auto process or just tote level?
Yeah, so if you're auto processing an order and you get audited and you receive product that you don't have the correct data for, then you would run into some issues there, right? You're not actually verifying the individual products against the data. So you're opening yourself up to risk if you're dispensing items without doing that additional verification. So we do always recommend either scan at an individual product level, but in some cases, some of these health systems have a DC or they're receiving 50, 60 totes a day, and it's not realistic to scan every single item. So we do support scanning at a tote level, you'll just want to make sure that you do that additional verification before putting that product into inventory.